Hello, I'm about to run out of power, so let's talk about FNaF. In today's video, I will be talking about some things I discovered and realized about the FNaF 3 tapes that a phone dude gives us when he's not there. And it gets pretty interesting. First of all, let's talk about why I was looking at the tapes. I had an idea to make these videos that were just audio based, and they're just little things no one thinks about in Five Nights at Freddy's. And I thought a lot of people would enjoy it because people love audio, people love animating audio, people love just listening to it and getting ideas, so I thought this would be a cool thing to do. And so I realized for the specific script I wanted to write, I need to know more about that Springlock incident that the phone guy tapes mention. But hat, you may be thinking, we already know everything about the tapes. FNaF 3 came out so long ago, we already know everything. Well, that's where I say you're wrong. You don't know everything. I'm about to tell you why. People assume that when the tapes mention the multiple and simultaneous Springlock failures, direct quote from the tapes, that he is talking about multiple Springlock suits, and that 2 people got Springlocked, and that's how Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie came to be. And that still might be the case, but then I listened to it a bit more. As you may know, those tapes are from Fredbear's Family Diner. It's either phone dude or phone guy says it itself. I can't remember which right now, but it was one of them. Either way, same game. And it meant, either way, it's the same game, and one of them mentions Fredbear's Family Diner, and that's where the tapes came from. However, these tapes talk about how the Springlock failure happened at a sister location. Now, when I say sister location, I don't mean the sister location. I don't mean the game sister location, because the game sister location is Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rentals. So what does it mean by sister location? Well, as you may know, a sister location does not necessarily mean a underground facility meant to torture robots. A sister location is a facility by the same company, and the term sister is used to refer to another facility if you work at one of the other facilities by the same company. So let's say you're working at Juniors, and FNaF 1 exists at the same time. Then you'd refer to FNaF 1 as the sister location because you don't work at FNaF 1, you work at Juniors. So therefore, FNaF 1 you would refer to as a sister location.
Juniors and FNaF 1 do not exist at the same time.
So, what is the sister location? The sister location that the tapes mentioned could possibly be either Circus Baby's Pizza World, or this other location that we hardly know anything about, but we know that's where the core 4 animatronics came from. And we know this exists at the same time as Fredbear's Family Diner because the show existed at the same time. And the show had more characters than Spring Bonnie and Fredbear. It had Bonnie, Chica, Freddy, and Foxy. So that means there was another location. And plus, the children had to be killed and stuffed into something in order for them to possess it, so yeah. So let's do process of elimination here. We know that the core 4 animatronics in that sister location around the time that Fredbear's existed had to have Springlocks. That's why they were then used later for parts in FNaF 2, because they were too dangerous to be kept as entertainment tools after what happened at the sister location. So if that's the case, now let's move on to Circus Baby's Pizza World. So in Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental, we know that there is a Springlock animatronic. In fact, we know all of them are Springlock animatronics. All of them. We know this because on the 4th night of the game sister location, you are put into a Springlock suit. And the Springlock suits are big enough to where you can use your hand to adjust the Springlocks in the mask. So they're pretty big. As expected, anyway. I mean, it's expected. They are described both in the books and in the game's blueprints as absolutely enormous. So does that mean that in Circus Baby's Pizza World, there's an animatronic that employees had to climb inside and perform in? Possibly. I mean, it's not that far off now, is it? Because that animatronic was there at Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rentals. So why couldn't it be that animatronic? Not only that, but the tapes also mention that because of that incident, the animatronics had to be taken down and thrown into a facility for testing. So that could easily be in any location, really. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that it was every location. Every location that was open. Every single one. Because in the tape immediately after the mention of the Springlock incident, he talks about how the Spring Bonnie animatronic has been noticeably moved. That's right, we all know that line. Spring Bonnie animatronic noticeably moved. That also means that any theory about Afton being the one getting Springlocked is thrown out the window because the suit was only moved after the incident. Hi, Editing Hat here. You're gonna see me a few more times during this video, but what I meant here is that Afton couldn't have been the one Springlocked in this incident. I know a lot of you probably thought that I just said that Afton wasn't the one in the Springtrap suit. That's not what I meant. I meant that he wasn't the one Springlocked in this incident. I forgot to mention this earlier, but it was probably implied that multiple simultaneous Springlock failures could easily mean one animatronic, because Springlocks doesn't refer to the suits, Springlocks refers to the things in the suits. So now I got that out of the way, I can continue. Another interesting thing that caught my attention is that they said they would have replacement suits after they took the old animatronics into a facility. And they told the employees not to question the relevance of the new suits that the employees would be wearing. And of course, there's a theory that Glitch Trap was one of the suits that William used to kill kids with. Now let's say that theory is true. That would mean that Phone Guy could possibly be referencing the Glitch Trap suit. Obviously it wasn't called Glitch Trap back then, but it was a representation of Spring Bonnie, and Afton had used it at some point. So, Phone Guy mentioning that they're bringing in different suits and telling the employees not to question the relevance of said suits kind of makes me think of Glitch Trap, because Glitch Trap is a completely different design from Spring Bonnie, so that's where the Glitch Trap suit would come in. I used to follow the theory that Shadow Bonnie and Shadow Freddy were both ex-employees that died in Springlock suits, specifically because of the multiple and simultaneous Springlock failures. But like I said earlier, that can refer to one suit. So I think it's best to say that we have ruled out the Spring Bonnie suit and Afton. We have ruled out the ex-employees because it could easily be one suit that went off because of the wording. I do believe that the Springlock failure happened at Circus Baby's Pizza World. But wait a minute, Hat. Slow your horses. Wasn't there a different incident that got Circus Baby's Pizza World closed? What, you mean Circus Baby? Well, yeah, I see what you're coming from, but think about it this way. As we know, the Funtime animatronics were designed to capture, kill, and contain children in storage tanks inside the Funtime animatronics for Afton to experiment on later. This wasn't a Springlock incident. Oh, but still got the place closed. Did it though? Think about it this way. Circus Baby mentions that there was only one kid in the room when she scooped Elizabeth, and it was Elizabeth. So that means there was no one else in the room. Maybe the crying child was peeking around the corner or something, but full on in the room, there was only one person, and that was Elizabeth, and she had died. No one was there to witness it, except maybe crying child. Except maybe crying child. Hey, Editing Hat here. I failed to mention that there were kids screaming in the background of a Circus Baby, you know. Anyway, you could either say it's the crying child or my theory is just false. Hi, Editing Hat here. Children did come into the room after Circus Baby killed Elizabeth, but because there's no evidence that Elizabeth had been killed and stored in the storage tank, the kids had no reason to scream. It was Elizabeth screaming, but no one could hear her because, as Circus Baby says in her own speech, they couldn't hear Elizabeth over the sound of their own excitement. So, yeah, kids are loud. So, that simply means that a different incident had to occur, and I do believe it was the Springlock incident. So, that's my theory. And personally, I think it's a very good theory, because it makes a lot of sense and fills in a lot of holes and gaps that I've been thinking about for a long time now. Now, obviously, a lot of people would disagree with me, but let's be honest, a lot of people in the fandom don't think anymore. I mean, people are still calling the Crown Shot crazy.